All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to Relatable Nerds. I'm Ilsa.
And I'm Kyra.
Guess what? Today, we missed last week, so we're recapping 2 episodes of Ahsoka today. And this is actually a special episode because we're coming to you from the Lincoln Lodge. Woo!
Yay.
Ow, ow, ow! We've been involved in the Lincoln Lodge, kind of like their podcast studio since like the beginning, but then we kind of like fell off. But we're so happy that our friend Christine brought us back in, and now we're gonna put this one on YouTube because we actually look at this like setup.
I was gonna say this is really fancy. I can hear myself breathe in the studio, and I'm like, wow, I can hear it's so quiet.
I hate hearing myself breathe.
I know.
It's so awful.
I have asthma. I literally sound like Darth Vader if I get like, but thank God I'm not wheezing right now, so we're in good shape.
You do a good Darth Vader impression.
I do, and it's totally just completely raw, just my lungs not working. But
That's it. That's fine. Yeah, I'm like super impressed that we have there's like cameras in here. There's like a round table. We have like actual mics.
Yes.
With like a really cool setup.
We can't figure this out at our studio, so
we could never.
we need to
our studio.
Yeah, our studio.
AKA my apartment.
The kitchen, the living room.
That's the dining room.
Right.
Yeah, it's live from a dining room. I guess nobody knows that, but yeah, we've never really said it.
Yeah, that's true. Because on the YouTube, we're just on the couch, and then I feel like, the dining room is not really, unless we do the Tipsy Nerds.
That's true. Yeah, Tipsy Nerds, that's where we normally record.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're going to be recapping Ahsoka episode 5 and episode 6 today. But before that, I would just love to know, Kyra, did you think about it at all? How was your week?
Oh, God, I did it. Wow, my week. What happened? It was like Labor Day weekend last weekend. Or no, I don't even know what weekend it is. It was Labor Day when we didn't record. I think, right? And then we took the week off. I don't remember that far back, but I know this past weekend I went to Riot Fest.
Yes.
So that was fun. I got to see the Foo Fighters. I got to see Turnstile. I unfortunately had to leave before I got to see The Cure, but I've seen The Cure before, so it was fine. And I saw pictures of that crowd, and it was like 100,000 people, and I just couldn't imagine leaving that park and being like sane without freaking out. But yeah.
That is like my personal nightmare.
I know, you don't like concerts.
I hate being around that many people.
It's very overwhelming. Like we took my little sister. She came back from college. Probably not supposed to say this. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening, but she smoked her first joint with us.
Oh my God, good for her.
She's 18.
Congratulations.
And she's just like, I feel like the cool mom from Mean Girls whenever I'm with her. And I'm not even, I totally get where she's coming from. It naturally comes out because she had her first drink with me. I'm not going to say when that was.
Oh no.
Because she's
so terrible.
But like a family Christmas party, a seltzer here and there, whatever. But we just bought a blanket.
You're doing a bang up job.
I know. I'd rather you do it at home, which is with me. And so we bought a blanket so we could just chill out on the field away from all the crowds. Cause I'm not standing in this for 5 hours. And we sat on the blanket, and me and my partner are just passing the joint, and she's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a joint. Do you want to try it?" She's like, "Okay." And I'm like, just one puff, see how you feel,
and she never has before.
Never. And she doesn't have asthma, so I wasn't stressed, but I also always have an inhaler on me because I come from a family of asthmatics. So, and she just hits it, and she's totally fine. She's great. And we started a little rotation.
She's doing it like a pro?
No, it's really cute how she tried to grab it from us and almost dropped it.
This is probably not her first time. If she's 18.
No, but she handled it very well. And that's why I'm just hit it first, wait a couple minutes, see how you feel. And it was so cute. I'm just like, well, how are you feeling? She's like, oh, I just feel normal, hello. And I'm like, oh, okay. She wants to talk. And then she's like, look at that grass. It looks so healthy. I just want to hug it. I'm like, okay, this is a positive reaction. You can keep smoking with us. But she was great.
That's so good. You were such a good helper for somebody smoking weed for the first time. Because nobody told me to, just smoke once and then wait a couple minutes, see how you feel.
Right.
Because you'll just keep doing it
when you're young.
Get the spins, and
right.
then you're wow, God. Now I'm unwell.
Exactly. And it was already hot that day, and she's in college now, so I know she just pledged in a sorority, which is insane. Nobody in my family's ever been in one. And
wow.
I just know she's going to be around those things, and like I would rather just have her be prepared and like know what to expect if she wants to do that. I'm really proud of her. She's doing a very stand-up job. She's kind of, an old soul. So yeah,
that's good. That whole story just reminded me of like, I was like, when did I have like my first drink? And I was like, I was 16 because my sister was 21. And she was like, this is what we're doing now.
Right. But like you trusted your older sister. Like you have that like bond. Yeah. My sister was also 16 when she had her first seltzer. Again, sorry, Mom. But I mean, that's just like a thing when you're at like a family party. I feel like you give,
well, we're both Latinas, so
I feel like men give their sons their first sip of beer when they're like 8. I watched my dad do that with my younger brother, and it was just like, but it just happens. It's in our culture,
I remember being at a family party when I was like 8 or 9, and they had like Jello shots, and I just thought it was Jello.
Right.
So I took one, and then I was like, "This doesn't taste that good.
This is a little sour, Mom."
Like,
Dad,
I think this one went bad.
Right. I'm still gonna do it, but
why are they so tiny? They're cute little tiny little. Why would you have that around your children?
Especially like different colors and stuff.
I will not be held accountable for anything that I've done in my life because it was those people before me.
The influencers, the original influencers are aunts and uncles. My uncle made me my first drink at a Christmas party, and it was a whiskey drink, and it was totally just awesome. And that's probably why I'm a bartender now. And like my favorite drink to make is a Manhattan or an old fashioned, So I now make money off of it, so I have no regrets.
This is what we've become.
How was your week, by the way?
Oh, my week. Yeah, oh my gosh. I didn't prepare for this question either, even though it's the one that I asked.
Right.
And then my memory is so terrible that I really have no idea. I've been working.
Yeah. Nice.
I've been working. I did some, acting work. So I've been doing that as well. Been kind of cramming my lines.
Yeah.
Went out yesterday to G-Man. Shout out Wrigleyville.
Oh boy.
And it was so popular. It was so popping because it was like a Cubs game.
Yeah, and they're like at the
So
end.
then me and my friend were like, let's not be here. There's too many people, which I hate.
Yeah.
And so we went to like the quietest bar on the street.
Which
the one that nobody was at. It was like Output or something.
I was gonna say, is it that Mardi Gras bar? Because that place is a dead zone. Like nobody goes in there.
It was like just like people who just got off of work. It looked like it's like everyone just like went to that one and like we're gonna be quiet here and like chill. Like we're with the people. We want to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I saw like obviously like I'm industry. I've been in it for a while, so obviously like we knew who the people. We were like
always.
We have to see somebody always.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
Love that.
Yeah. That was my week.
I love it. We're working and drinking and working and drinking, and the cycle
working
continues.
On drinking.
Yep, always.
All right, well, let's get started. Let's go ahead and recap episode 5.
Oh my God, you guys, this was the episode. I think honestly it was good that we waited a week to let this one sink in and like dive into it, because it was so much emotion, it was so much action, it was a culmination of everything we've wanted from a animated series, a prequel movie. It was just everything, everywhere, all at once. And
great reference.
Yes, best movie ever. We love Michelle Yeoh here. And so this episode, if you guys remember the last one, Ahsoka, quote unquote, just kind of fell into the water. Nobody knows where she is, but we know she's with Anakin.
Yeah, she went cliff diving and she dove a little too hard.
What are you doing, Loka? Like,
Loka, get out of the lake, Loka. What are you doing?
And Sabine, of course, is being Sabine, and she like went with the bad guys just to find her Ezra, which that's a tough place to be in.
I mean,
she is kind of a brat. I don't hate her still. I think there's hope for her yet, but I can see how she didn't have a choice, really. Like, but I don't know if I would sacrifice myself over the golden snitch. Like, I don't know if I would do that. I would like to think I would, but
I was like, I mean, like, I'm a big like Sabine hater, and I've been since like day one.
No, and you kind of like remind me, like you kind of like look like her a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Buddha says. If you don't like something, it's like because you see something in someone else that you don't like about yourself, or you see something in them that you wish that you had.
Okay.
So
do you want to be a Mandalorian Jedi?
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe that was it, because I really thought about like what you said, because you're like, well, she's Mandalorian, like she can't leave him behind.
Right.
She literally can't.
She can't. That's the code.
That's the code.
Yes.
And I was like, she's a Mandalorian. Like she has to do this.
Is the way.
She's driven by something else. And I'm over here coming from like a Jedi like mindset, and I'm like, I'm just completely disregarding her Mandalorian background.
Right.
So I've like, I've grown.
Yeah.
I've grown over these past
things.
2 weeks. Yeah. This is the year of realizing things, and I am now, I'm pro Sabine.
I'm here for it. I think these last 2 episodes are going to show some good in Sabine. But anyways, you guys, so everybody's kind of like missing right now. Hera, Jason, Syndulla Hera's son, and Chopper arrive on Cetus trying to find Ahsoka. Hera hears something and it ends up being Huyang. Huyang's just in like the corners of the little thing, and he's holding the helmet of Sabine, and he doesn't know what happened, but he's like, I told them to stay together. They can never stay together. It is what it is.
I know. He was like, I told them.
He's like, they don't listen to me. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Surprised. You didn't see this one coming?
Why? I would listen to David Tennant if he was telling me what to do.
Especially
I'd be like,
in a droid voice.
He's an authority.
Yeah, I'm like, and Huyang, like, I mean, what a powerful name to begin with, and then also like all he's seen.
Yeah.
And knows.
As a people pleaser, I could not listen to that authority.
I would listen to him more than like a master Jedi sometimes. Exactly. I'm like, he doesn't have like a bias. He's just a droid, And so then we go to Ahsoka and Anakin. They look at each other in this crazy world between the worlds. And Ahsoka, looks at Anakin. She's like, you look the same. And you have to remember, Ahsoka, that was the last time she saw Anakin is the way he looks now. Was in Clone Wars, before he turned into Vader, before Order 66. It was like the last visual she has of him. The next one is when he's Vader.
Right. Yeah, we said that episode 4. We were like, whoa, it's Clone Wars Anakin.
And thank you guys, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, whoever the hell you are with the CJ edits. You finally listened, because in Obi-Wan, you guys did this man a disservice by not editing his face when he had that little battle on Coruscant with Obi-Wan. I mean, everybody ages. It's a part of life. But
turning evil, I guess, ages
it just
you
gives
even
you wrinkles.
More.
And it's like, you can't do that.
It's a stressful life.
But this filter they had on Anakin's face was, wow, it sent me back to being like my teenage years. And
it was
like,
such a good filter.
It was so
I was
good.
like, Facetune.
I'm like, why don't I have the Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars filter on my phone? Like, I would use it every day.
It's like, which one were they using?
Right.
Cappuccino? Cute cappuccino.
I was literally trying to think of what that one was today. But, so yeah, Ahsoka's like, you look the same. Anakin's like, you look old, because he hasn't really seen her either. And
she's not wearing a filter.
Right. But yeah, so he tells her, she lost the fight and he's here to finish her training, which is like a big thing with Ahsoka. She obviously holds a lot of resentment with Anakin just because she left and then he fell, and she blames herself. She walked away from the Jedi Order because of everything that happened to her, which rightfully so. I think she did the right thing in long term there, but that took so much courage for her to do, walk away from all of her best friends. And
not really, because her best friend's the one that betrayed her.
I know, but he was still trying to come out on the other side.
No, the girl. Talking about the girl.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
how it happened in Clone Wars, like how it was actually her best friend. What was her name? It started with like a B.
These side characters, I don't even care. We'll just call
her. But that
her
was
B.
like her BFF, and she turned evil and blamed it on Ahsoka, and then they were like, "We believe that."
Yeah.
Because this girl's a straight A student.
Right.
And Ahsoka is Anakin's Padawan.
Right.
So.
I mean, of course you're going to try to blame Ahsoka for everything.
Yeah.
And so she tells him, like, it's a little late for that. And Anakin goes, it's never too late. You're never too old to learn, SNIPS.
I love that. SNIPS.
That's cute. And it's almost like because everything at this point, we're post Revenge of the Sith. Vader has already died.
Yeah.
I think he's saying that because in the last minutes of his life, he turned good again. He helped Luke defeat the Emperor. And, he's kind of reminding her, like, let's find some purpose again. Like, let's go through this again, because he knows she can do it. And he ignites that old school blue saber. And that like sent me, because I'm like, wow, I haven't seen a shade of blue like that in a long time.
Oh my God,
so
it's the most beautiful shade of blue.
I'm like, wow.
It was more like the stickers.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love that cat sticker.
Yeah. And he asked her, do you want to live or die? It's kind of an ultimatum. And she's kind of like, what do you mean, She's like, why do you speak in riddles? Like, can you just train me already? And she won't fight him at all, which is very reminiscent of Luke again telling Vader he won't fight him either. Like Vader just wants to throw hands and everyone's like, I don't want to fight you. I know I'm going to die.
But if someone throws hands at you, you have to fight.
Right.
And then that's what he did. He like literally did the first swing, but it's like, thank you for politely asking. I declined, but then I declined and you did it anyway.
Yeah.
This is an unconsensual fight.
It was not.
Unconsensual?
Yeah. That's a word, I guess. I was still here for it. I love watching them battle. And so then we go back to Jason. Jason roams off because they're still in Cetus. They're figuring out where Ahsoka is. He can feel the Force. Remember, he's half Jedi. He is the son of Kanan Jarrus, so he is definitely strong with the Force. It's becoming more apparent each episode. He can hear the lightsabers like in the sky, which is so cool.
I know. I loved hearing that.
I was like, wow, this kid is, I look at him, I'm like, he's the coolest person ever. I can't wait to watch him grow. And hopefully the series and like movies, I really hope they don't forget about him because he's so integral to like everything that's going on.
Oh my God. That would suck if they forgot about him.
How you know?
I bet they have plans for him.
They have to. The music was also so epic during this whole thing. You were like on the edge of your seat when you're like listening to this music. And I thought it was a little weird, but Hera could hear the lightsabers too. Yeah. But she like doesn't have the Force at all, which I was like, oh, like I don't think she should have been able to like hear them. But that's whatever. Mother, son combo.
But we've already been told like everyone's connected to the Force. So if you like tune into it, like everybody is connected in it. So I think that she just kind of, especially from Kanan, she must have learned something. A little
around
something.
all those people, you know, around these Jedi.
Yeah.
So then we go back to Anakin and Ahsoka, and it's a young Ahsoka and Anakin from the Clone Wars.
And this girl has a dream life. She played young Gamora, and she was in the Barbie movie, and now she's freaking Ahsoka.
Ariana something.
Greenblatt or something.
Yeah. Oh my God. I loved it. She's amazing.
How are you? How?
How do you get like seriously?
How like she's adorable. I get why. Like she was a perfect little baby Gamora. But I was like, hey, I know that's baby Gamora.
Yeah, like
I was like, you can't. That's not Ahsoka. That's
the
Gamora.
Same vibe. Gamora and Ahsoka would definitely be friends in like a different, you know, like universe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. Different galaxy though.
Right. So Anakin is in his Clone Wars armor, which was amazing. It was, you know, a lot to take in because it was very, very much the same as the animated series. It looked so good.
I know.
So this
nostalgia was
I'm
on 1000
because we haven't seen this in live action. We've only gotten to see cartoons of this stuff, you know. And so this Clone War episode is based off of when they are on the planet Ryloth. It's really early on into their whole like career training together. They're surrounded by clones and fighting. In this particular episode of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka disobeys orders from Anakin, and she ends up getting a lot of the clones like killed.
Yes, wasn't that an episode of Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm. It was the episode on Ryloth.
I was like, oh my God, I remember this.
Right, and she's clearly like not okay with killing them. She's like consoling the clones as they're like on their deathbed, and
that's good that she wasn't okay with murdering like hundreds of clones.
And Anakin's like, well, this is what happens. This is the price of war. Like, you have to kill people. You have to be a leader. And she's like, I don't know. This is my fault. Like, I don't want to do this. She's still kind of like figuring out the person, the Jedi she wants to be. And then we see Rex. We see Rex, which was really cool.
That little side, I loved it.
I know. And all of these clones, by the way, have the blue stripe, which is the clone helmet from the 501st, which means they're loyal to Anakin. So just a little nerdy tidbit there if you guys are weird Star Wars nerds like us.
Or if you have listened to our podcast in the past.
We love Rex. We love that they're bringing back Tamora Morrison for like every role of a clone because it's like a very easy casting job. Like all of these guys were clones. They all look like him. Like this is very easy. Anybody that's a clone could be Tamora Morrison.
They're like, please stay in the studio, sir.
Right, man.
We
just
might
don't
need
leave.
you for anything.
And the funny thing is like you didn't even see his like face, but you heard his voice, so he didn't even probably have to be there. It was probably like a stunt double or something. And so then we go back to Hera and Huyang. They continue the search for Ahsoka. Huyang says he can feel her. She's around. Hera starts asking Huyang about like Anakin and Ahsoka's master. And she's like, how was he? And Huyang's just intense. And then it cuts to the next scene. And Ahsoka is now at the battle. Yeah, Ahsoka's now at the Battle of Mandalore.
I feel like he wasn't that intense though. He was kind of like super chill, and like you can kind of tell in the next scene, like the way he like talks to her, like
Right.
he's just like he's like a chill surfer dude.
Actually, like intense.
Like the way he's like raising Ahsoka.
Right. He was intense at times when he like got his saber out and was fighting people, because this man loved to kill people.
Yeah.
Like he loved to kill people.
Especially babies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we cannot deny this man loved cutting people's heads off with his lightsaber. And Ahsoka would be like, bro, like, you didn't even have to do him like that.
Yeah.
Like, because the Jedi way, you're not supposed to kill people.
And like it.
Yeah. And Anakin's like, haha. Like, you can tell. Like, obviously she knew. Obviously Obi-Wan knew. The people, Mace Windu knew, you know?
They all turned a blind eye.
Yeah. And it was like, come on, this guy is too good to be bad right now. And so
it's like the hot people privilege.
Yeah.
Like they all just like let him. Yeah. They're like, well, yeah, he's a little intense, but
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
We'll give him some time.
He's still my friend.
Right. He's still hot. So now we jump back. Ahsoka is now at the Battle of Mandalore. She's a little bit older. She's going crazy with her lightsabers. She's like absolutely a little bit more trained now. She's kicking ass. And we see the Mandalorians in this, which is like a Mandalorian with the little spikes. Darth Maul's Mandalorians. God, I can't even say that. Mandalorians. Which, if you guys know, if you don't know, spoiler, if you haven't watched Rebels, what are you doing with your life? Darth Maul gets resurrected in Rebels through the Night Sisters, which we see in this series, and he has all these like Mandalorians that turn to his side, the Mandalorians, and they have little spikes. So
yeah,
if you
that always like pissed me off, because I was like, Qui-Gon died for nothing.
I was gonna say, you can resurrect just about anybody, and we're gonna see that as a theme in this series coming up.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, I mean, we can just clone him. Like, how did you not think of that? So by the way, at this time, when the Battle of Mandalore happened, Darth Maul was actually the leader of Mandalore. And this is when Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting Dooku in Revenge of the Sith. So that's when this battle happened. Ahsoka was there. They were there. Captain Rex is there again, played by the lovely Tamora Morrison. He tells Ahsoka that he'll seize the perimeter. It's our first like interaction with him talking, and like obviously we love Rex. I just want to note that. I think we're going to see more of him.
And Rex is a big deal in Ahsoka's life because he's
like an uncle.
He is, yeah. And they go on like later because she changes him because he's affected by Order 66.
Yeah.
And she, is the one to save him. Mm-hmm. And then they team up a couple times, like in their lives, like later.
I love it. I love Rex.
Love Rex. He's like the best clone.
I that's honestly in the running for like the next dog I get. His name might be Rex. We might call him Captain.
Oh, that's Captain Rex. That's a really good one.
I know. Solo and Rex.
My next one is Finn, obviously, because Poe needs a boyfriend.
We need to get like a family pick of all of them and dress them up as their characters. So they're at this Battle of Mandalore. Anakin appears, just walks up in the Clone Wars fashion where he always like crosses his arms. They both have their arms crossed, and he's next to Ahsoka, and he's like, I don't know this battle. And that's because they've parted ways by now. He wasn't there. He was with Obi-Wan on Dooku. Yeah. And so he tells her already she has like all the knowledge that she needs within her to continue this like fight. And at this point, she starts to confront him about his choices, because at this point, he's about to turn. It's about to be Order 66, and she's like, why did you do this, man? Like, it didn't have to be this way. Like, we could still be, like, hanging out in Coruscant and just being good people. We could
still be buds, bro. Yeah. But it's like, no, Ahsoka, you left the Jedi Order.
Yeah, girl, that's not how this works.
That's not what happened.
You can't just leave the sorority or the fraternity.
You can't just, like, drop out and expect the people not to turn.
Right. And he looks at her, and you can tell he's starting to get mad. And he's like, is this what this is all about? And his entire demeanor changes. His eyes start changing to red. It was so cool.
He was creepy.
He was creepy, but I don't know. I'm just sick, and I think it was so hot. I was so attracted the whole time. I'm like, I just love both of them.
Yeah, I feel that for you.
Yeah. And she still doesn't really get it at this point. She's still blaming herself for Anakin turning. And this is why Anakin now, he turns on he doesn't have a blue saber anymore. He has the red one.
Yeah.
He's Vader now. Oh, amazing moment. And he starts fighting her, and he kind of pushes her away from this battle through a portal back into the world of worlds. And in a Vader Anakin voice, he like tells her, you lack conviction. So good.
That was messed up.
Yeah. And so she does not lack
conviction.
No, she doesn't at all. She's actually just a normal human. Not a human, but she has human tendencies, you know. She's not going to, like, kill people just to kill people to be a leader. She's now fighting Vader. They're going at it. It's really awesome. She disarms him. And he was testing her this whole time because he didn't really know while you were watching the episode. It was very intense. Like, what's going to happen? What's going on? He's already dead. But
finishing her training.
It's like, wow. Like, obviously, he's just like, this is the final exam, you know? Is she going to get an A? SATs. And she's like, oh, my God. Like, you know? And she's already battled him as Vader in Rebels before, which is ironic because she almost dies battling Vader. But Ezra in Rebels pulls her out into the world of the worlds. And that's how she survives. And so she disarms him, and she pushes her saber toward him. And as she does, her eyes turn red. It's like really creepy and crazy. She kind of, you know, because like you are a little bit of your master.
You are a little bit of your master, and like, she hates hearing that.
I like to say you're only as good as your last Padawan, you know?
Yeah.
And Anakin's last Padawan was Ahsoka.
That line of Jedi is sick.
I was gonna say they come from a long line of strong
the
people.
Best ones. We're like, okay, this is all the best ones, and Ahsoka is the last one in that line.
Literally ends it, but maybe we'll continue it, which I think she will.
First woman that I can think of, because it's like, isn't it Yoda, Dooku, Qui-Gon?
In that line,
Obi-Wan,
yeah. In that line, yes. But there are like women around, but I think a lot of them were killed in Order 66.
But I mean, like Master Apprentice.
Okay.
That line.
Following down, from Anakin from Obi-Wan, and so she, you know, is all the way up with him. Her eyes are red. She's like, I choose to live. And then he turns back into Anakin, and he's like, there's hope for you yet.
And he's not scary anymore.
He's not scary anymore.
He just loves her again.
Yeah, and, you know, it's interesting because it's like he was Vader. Obviously, that's who he became. But it's like, it seems like he always had this, like, control, you know? Even to the very end, but he was obviously killing younglings. He was killing all these people, but like he possessed it in him to not do that, and that. But he
thought that his best friend was, you know, sleeping with his wife.
That's just Palpatine, like force rumoring.
I'm just saying,
Palpatine is just like a force gossiper.
If you get cheated on, don't murder a bunch of kids.
Especially Obi-Wan too, or try to kill Obi-Wan. Like Obi-Wan's the only reason you even got brought into this. Like he could have dropped you.
But he thought that he was cheating.
Right.
I think that's so funny because it was like
very obvious it wasn't happening.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not seeing it. What are you saying?
Obi-Wan's like, she isn't even my type, bro.
He's like, I like Mandalorians.
Yeah. And she was like, come on, there's just so many levels to this. Like, Anakin, you need therapy.
Oh, yeah, she was pregnant.
Yeah, like what?
She was like in her 3rd trimester and then started cheating. God, I love it.
Fucking Anakin, man. I'll never forget him for force choking her on Mustafar when she was pregnant. I remember watching that as a kid, and I'm like, I don't think I breathe. I think I was being stopped. So I was like, no.
You started to force choke.
Like, not my queen. Excuse me. And so that Anakin disappears. Ahsoka then melts into the water back from the ocean. It's like almost like a baptism of sorts. She's purified. What a journey that was. What a journey. She wakes up. Now she's white. White, we mean by the robe. She's now Ahsoka the White.
She's still brown, but she's wearing white.
Right. Outfit change. She no longer, and this is obviously symbolic. This happens in Rebels. It's giving a little bit of a Gandalf situation here from Lord of the Rings. Gandalf the White, Gandalf the Gray. He comes back as the White when he almost dies in that like cave with that fire dragon, and he comes back and he saves the Riders of Rohan in that whole battle. Incredible. It was amazing. He just looked, I think he said look to the west or look to the east, and you just see him on a mountain with his staff, and he's just glowing. That's basically Ahsoka right now. And she no longer blames herself for what happened with Anakin. You know, she's kind of free from that. She has hope again. Hope is obviously always the theme in Star Wars.
Hope. Just like fear is the mind killer in Dune.
It is. There's a theme here, you guys, with these science fiction sand planets. So Ahsoka then ends up getting saved. You know, Jason helps, but like a New Republic person like dives in, gets her from the ocean. She's like asleep for like one rotation, Hu Yang says. Then she sees Jason, Chopper, and Hera. Hu Yang lets her know that Jason has the Force and he heard the sabers. And she's like, okay, I don't need Sabine anymore. I'm going to train Jason. And then,
a way better Padawan.
Right. And I'm like, okay, this guy actually has promise and he's like young. So you can like kind of like shape him from a young age, which is not like the best thing. But I mean, obviously we trust Ahsoka as a master.
That's like grooming.
Yeah, it is kind of like grooming.
Yeah.
The Jedis are kind of groomers.
They are groomers.
It's not great.
It's not talked about enough.
Yeah. Here we go. The hard topics of the Jedi Order.
Hard truths.
Oh, man.
This is why Balon left. He was like, I just don't like this grooming thing.
I can't wait to get into Balon. I mean, he watched everybody he loved get destroyed and like killed.
How are we on time? We got to get to it.
We got to get to it. Yeah. So Ahsoka uses psychometry in that little runes to hear the voices of what happens. We know she can like use the Force to hear voices of past things. We saw her do this in episode 2. And she realizes what Sabine did, but she doesn't tell anybody because she doesn't want to tell Hera. She doesn't want to let everybody know.
She ain't a snitch.
And she sees the pergola like go up in the sky. And she's like, wait, I remember those things. They're here for a reason. She's like, let's just jump in the whale's mouth and go to hyperspace. I mean, it's like a really weird concept, but I'm here for it because I love all the animals in Star Wars.
Yeah. I liked how she got like permission.
Yeah.
She was like, hey, I'm gonna ask this like whale if I can go in its mouth to jump through hyperspace.
And Hera's like, I don't give a shit what you do. Just find Ezra and kill Thrawn. Like, do whatever the hell you gotta do, girl. I don't even want to look.
Don't get eaten by this whale.
Right. Don't even tell me. That's why she's
Don't even tell me the
right.
Don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me the plan.
Right. She's like, I'm backing out. I don't even want to go.
These pilots want nothing to do with anything. Like
they're
Hera, Han, Poe. They're just like, don't even tell me.
They're looking at all of them like, you're going to die. Like, why? I don't want to be involved in this.
I'm a pilot and like I have the most dangerous job, but you are putting yourself in more danger than me.
I gotta go. So then, she talks to the pergolas and she hops in their little whale mouth and they go off to hyperspace to find Ezra and Thrawn. Then one of the last scenes we get is Mon Mothma, who just seems kind of like annoying in this series so far. I love her so much. I mean, we saw her in Andor. We've seen her in the original trilogy.
She's so classy.
She's so classy, and she just is the ultimate poker face, always up to something behind closed doors, which I'm assuming this is the case. But she's also giving Hera a heads up. She's like, hey, they want to investigate you. You got to come back because they got a lot of questions. And I will recall back in the earlier episodes when we did see that council with Mon Mothma, they were sketchy. Those people were like very like disapproving. They were just like condescending towards Hera. They didn't want to believe her. They didn't want to believe Mon Mothma. And they were just kind of rude, which, alludes to the fact that there's a lot of old Sith Empire people still working now for the New Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think there could be a loophole there. Somebody's got to be bad there. And so then, that is the last scene. Here is going to head back to the planet and probably get put on a trial. And I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully Chopper ends up speaking up and testifying for Hera, or Hu Yang.
Yeah.
Well, Hu Yang's, I guess, with Ahsoka, but
Chopper will testify.
Chopper will testify.
If we can understand him.
If we can. Dave Filoni, please write a translation book or something so we know. All right, you guys. And then this past week, literally yesterday, episode 6, titled Far, Far Away. Those bastards getting me excited. I'm like, oh, man. Okay.
Oh, my God. They were really hitting us with the nostalgia this week.
They really did. And I'm like, this is the long-awaited episode. I mean, all of them are long-awaited. But all Rebels fans have been waiting for. Episode 5 was absolutely a love letter to like the Clone Wars, the prequels, ending with Ahsoka and Anakin.
It's such a beautiful way to put it.
It was so good. But now we're shifting to the bigger picture, I would say, where we're combining all of these worlds, which is this one's going to be heavy Rebels themed. If you guys haven't watched Rebels, I feel like anybody watching this show, if you haven't watched Rebels, you kind of have an idea a little bit of what's going on, but I don't think anybody understands how powerful Thrawn is. And I did like him in this episode, but I wasn't like, I wasn't like super scared. I was just like, oh, he's blue. He looks like an avatar.
I like him.
I like him too.
I don't know. I'm like into it. I'm like, I see why people are so culty about him. Like, something about him being blue and that tall and
those
that
red
like
eyes.
that unbothered.
So unbothered.
I'm like, he's the most unbothered man.
He really has no worries.
And he's so tall.
He's so tall and he's very intimidating, and
he wears a suit well.
Yeah, and a lot of those books that were written about Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, a lot of people are fans of, and those were intense. Those are really good books. And so, again, I just want to preface this. Give Dave Filoni every Star Wars script for movies, TV,
So excited
animated.
for
This man is a godsend for all of us. This is the man we've been waiting for. I think Dave Filoni is the chosen one.
Except for he steals his ideas from us.
That's true. That's true. We still
Hi,
love
Dave.
him, though.
Thanks
Dave,
for watching.
Just invite us to the
watching
premieres.
this time instead of just listening.
Just like let us cover the episodes on Star Wars Official or something.
Just like, give us the scripts and we'll tell you what is right and what's wrong.
Exactly.
And you don't have to wait months to get our feedback.
Favreau gave up. He's like, I can't even write Mandalorian anymore.
He's like, they stopped making assumptions about it.
Yeah,
so I have no idea.
My time is done. So this episode starts. We have the Pergolas. They're traveling through hyperspace. It's Ahsoka and Hu Yang. They're in the Pergola's mouth. They're just cruising, And Ahsoka tells Hu Yang the truth about Sabine and what she did. And Hu Yang obviously is like, she's a little selfish, but maybe she did not have a choice. Maybe this is what she had to do, which again brings up,
that was the line
Yeah.
that made me like hit it with like, because I'd been thinking about what you said about how she's a Mandalorian or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that line like really solidified it for me. I was like, she has to. It's her code. It's like having the Jedi code. Like it's the Mandalorian code. Like Grogu had to go back to Din. Like he had to go back. It was like Din had to go visit him while he was training. He had to bring him presents. Like it was like, this. I was like, I get it. The love story, the greatest love story told of all time is Grogu and Din. Yeah.
And that's literally where I stand too. I'm like, why would she sacrifice herself? She knows she has a bigger purpose. She comes from a very strong line of Mandalorian Jedi as well. And like, it's I get it. I get why she did it. Also, like if my best friend was on the other side of that hyperspace and that's all I had really going for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going. I'm not going to kill myself right now. I'm not going to sacrifice. Could she even do it? Like, could she even destroy that thing? I don't even know if she could.
Yeah.
Like maybe, but like I don't think she could. Like clearly she's not that like strong trained yet or anything.
She has her priorities.
She has her priorities and I get it. Ezra is a babe. I totally get it. And so then
But they were giving friend energy the whole time.
We'll get to that because that was very painfully awkward. Maybe it's just like when you see like an old fling for the first time in a while and you're like, oh, we like need a drink to like settle this awkwardness, this air right now. Like we need to cut this with like a tequila shot or something. Because it was tension. But so then Hu Yang and Ahsoka start talking about like stories, and Hu Yang's like, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I know.
And I was like, damn.
Like,
I wanted to hear like the music.
Story.
I was like,
finish
okay. The story. Extended cut episode. So we go to Morgan Elsbeth, Shin Hati, and Balon. They're on their way through hyperspace to Thrawn. They got a head start on Ahsoka. When they arrive, it kind of looks like they've arrived in a Pergola graveyard too. I don't know if you noticed that there's like a bunch of bones in space, and they're like, I'm like, oh no, they're like killing Pergolas. Like that's my thing.
That was the thing. Is I was like, are they gonna? Is that why they hyper jump? Is to kill themselves?
The Pergola? I don't know. I hope not. That's so scary.
Yeah, because then wouldn't Ahsoka die?
Maybe
I don't know.
She would like get to escape.
I mean, obviously, it's not what's going to happen because like that would be a crazy way to end the show.
Right.
I was like, that did scare me because I was like,
it is scary. It's concerning. I'm like, why are we in a gravesite? And like nobody.
Is that why she chose the biggest one? Because she was like, he's probably made it a lot of times.
Yeah, he's like a veteran or something.
Yeah.
So Sabine wakes up in shackles. And, they're like literally keeping her prisoner. She's like, damn, they're not going to like let me find Ezra at all.
No. No.
And then they land, they dock, and they, the planet that they're going on is Peridia. And they all enter a smaller ship, which is a really cool ship. It was very like flashy. It was bougie. It was like gold trim, and they like drop from that dock and just like go. I thought it was really cool.
They styling.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Morgan Elsbeth, you're using your witch powers.
Oh my gosh, Morgan Elsbeth. She
that girl manifests.
Yeah, she manifests for sure.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And so they arrive on Peridia, and kind of like a rune thing that was on Cetus when they were there, the last planet Ahsoka and all
Very
of them were
similar.
on. And it's 3 grandmothers they're the original powerful witches that welcome Morgan Elsbeth. By the way, Morgan Elsbeth during this entire time is like salivating at the mouth because she knows she's so close to Thrawn. She's like freaking out. She's like,
I thought she called him daddy, but she didn't.
I think she did. And
it sounded like it,
she
right?
muttered it under her breath. I saw her lips go. That you could feel that like her attention with Thrawn, and Thrawn like didn't even give a shit, but he trained her back in the day. She was like not trained, but like a protege to him, kind of.
Yeah.
So she's very familiar. He's obviously moved on. He has that gold face dude, Anak now, but
yeah.
And so these original witches, they're very reminiscent of Darth Maul's mother Townsend, who was in Rebels as well. Keep in mind they can resurrect people, which is kind of scary. And so the grandmothers are like, oh, it reeks of Jedi, and they immediately like, which Jedi are they going to look at? You know, because like she calls Balon and Shin Hati mercenaries, but they're definitely Jedi too.
But it's like when Sabine walks up is like when they say like that smells like Jedi.
Right, and it's like she's not a Jedi though.
It's
Yeah.
like she's one of the
She
worst
can't even
Jedi
move this rock,
ever.
bro.
She moves
Yeah.
because it's a turtle.
Right. It's a what are they called? A Noti.
They were speaking Noti or
They were
something.
so cute. And so they take her prisoner while they wait for Thrawn to arrive. At this point, Balin and Shin like veer off. They have a moment. I love their relationship together because I feel like they both have no idea what the hell they're doing. Like Balon is chasing this like, I don't even know, some like night dream of just having a greater purpose. It's giving off like Thanos to me. He thinks there's something greater on this planet, and he starts telling her how
I love that.
Yeah.
It was giving Thanos.
he's like, oh my god, like he's looking off in the distance. He looks
got
so
his like young
conflicted.
little daughter helping him.
Yeah, and she's like, dude, I'm not buying this, but like I gotta stay alive again. And so he starts telling her how like he watched everything he knew and respected burn in front of him. Order 66. Like obviously that's traumatic. That's gonna influence you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's
he seems
true.
really hurt, and I feel for the guy. He probably watched, little younglings he was training.
And when men hurt, they can't bounce back.
Yeah, no, and then he's
They're just like
obviously
wounded
not
forever.
right, and he's not in therapy. So like clearly
He's
this is
not
just
in therapy.
piling on these emotions.
Men, you need to go to therapy.
right, especially if you're a Sith, if you're borderline, if you're a bad guy, go to therapy.
If your lightsaber is orange, go to therapy.
And so he mentions to Shin, which was a really good point. The Jedi and their like cycle of like falling, Empire, Jedi, like continues on, and it's like an annoying cycle. I agree, but that's like history. Like everything repeats itself, but he wants to end it. He's like, he seeks a new beginning. And again, it's giving Thanos on that imaginary planet he liked. Balin is a certified sad boy. He's very emo. I know he listens to My Chemical Romance on the reg.
Loves it.
And I'm here for it. Like he probably loves Morrissey and The Cure. And
Oh
like
my God,
he wears
Radiohead.
eyeliner. Yeah, he
Oh,
wears
all of
eyeliner
it.
for sure. He plays I'm a Creep. I'm a Weirdo.
Oh my God, I love that song.
That's his hype song
yeah.
before he goes out and trains Shin Hati. She's like, why is this part of our training? He's like, just listen.
He's like, just give me a minute.
Memorize the lyrics. And so then we see like the ship dock, and it's Thrawn's massive ship from Rebels. It's like the biggest ship I've ever seen in my life. Don't even know how he pulled this off after going in hyperspace, whatever. But a lot of it is like put back together. It's very wrecked. It's clearly in need of some like servicing when they go back to the galaxy, the other one. And so you hear all these like clones, Thrawn, like he's coming, and he sure does arrive. And you see all of these before that, a lot of the clones that you see before while he's walking up, they're all like literally being held up by duct tape. Like
Yeah,
they move
they,
one
like,
wrong way and they're shattered. Like
Yeah, they never clean their outfits.
no, they're really dirty, and
It's like, get a washcloth.
seriously, like just I don't know,
really not
water.
that hard.
Do they have water on that planet?
Makes you believe they're resurrected.
I was gonna say the night troopers. The red tape around them too is like the color of the Night Sisters. Are these guys gonna turn green dust when you kill them? Like, I'm really interested in seeing that, because if that's the case, it's gonna be really easy to kill.
Yeah, would love to know if one of them is Tick.
Yeah. Oh God, I know. Oh, that'll hurt.
That would hurt.
So let me see.
I wouldn't be able to make it.
No, I'm like, let me just mute that and look away. So let me see Thrawn, you guys. The guy we've been waiting for, the Avatar blue skin, those Sith red eyes. I mean, chef's kiss. They really did a service. And they also casted the same man who voices him from Rebels.
He does look like someone that you'd be like, thank you, chef.
Yeah, Lars Mikkelsen, you know, like, the brother of... the other Mikkelsen.
Yes. Who did he play?
He played the Grindelwald.
Yes. Didn't he play someone else though?
He's in a lot of shit.
He's in a lot of stuff.
I don't like him.
He was in Star Wars something.
Yeah,
else.
no, he was in Rogue One.
Oh,
Andor.
okay. Yeah,
He's the dad.
yeah.
Or no, he wasn't. Was he in Andor?
I think so. Not Andor.
No, he was in Rogue One. He just has a lot of similarity. He physically looks like Putin. So like, I just, whenever I see him, I'm like, great actor, but also just bad vibe. Ick. Just his face. I'm sorry. I still think he's very talented.
Stay blue, sir. Stay blue.
So he introduces Enoch, which is his gold face clone. I thought he looked really weird. It was giving like Phantom of the Opera. The gold guy.
I liked it. As a Leo, anything with gold accents, I'm like, I'm a part of. I have this Liquid Death, sponsored by but the little top is like gold.
It is. That literally is the same shade of gold.
That.
And so then Thrawn, you know, he sees Balon. He knows exactly who Balon is, and Balon tells him he has Sabine. And he's like, oh yeah, she'll be of service to us, because he knows she's gonna find Ezra. But how the hell has Thrawn not found Ezra? That's my question here. Like, it's a very like big loophole. He's obviously a very strong
I feel person. Like he's just like not that worried about it, because he
has no worries. This man is like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere,
unbothered
every hour. R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett, because this man, he's in Margaritaville. He's in Margaritaville. He's wasting away. Peridia is Margaritaville. And
it's wasting away.
Wasting away in Peridia.
And he's not even cleaning his stormtroopers.
No.
Like, he's not doing anything.
Like, I don't give a shit. I'll just get him drunk.
He's just like letting them all just fade away. It's crazy. This planet is so bad. All of his friends are dirty.
Yeah. This is what he's got, though.
I guess he's like monitoring to see if anyone's taking off, you know?
Right. And I think he has people waiting for him. Obviously, Elsbeth was. I think he has a lot of people waiting for him back, you know, in the OG galaxy, which we know is going to happen. So then Thrawn meets Sabine. He's like, yeah, you can go find Ezra. Like, we're gonna honor what Balon said. He actually like hooks her up. He gives her the lightsaber back. He gives her a gun. He gives her this cute little howler, like dog hyena that I loved.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't understand that. Why would you give her those things? Because he wants her to find her.
He wants her to find Thrawn. And again, I don't think he cares about Ezra. Yeah, I don't think he cares about any of them. They're all disposable to him. He just wants to get off that planet. He wants to go back. He
wants to kill Ezra.
Mm-hmm. He wants to kill Ezra if he can. He's like, oh, if this happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll get him eventually.
Good for Ezra for getting out.
I know. And then Thrawn tells Balon, they like let Sabine go, and she goes. And Thrawn, as they're watching her, Thrawn tells Balon and Shin, like, once they find Ezra and Sabine, they have to destroy them. And Shin doesn't like that at all. She's like, why are we still worrying about these people? She doesn't understand about Ezra yet. I mean, do you think Shin has potential to turn to the light? No?
I feel like she's further gone than Balon is.
I think she's a little bit more evil, yeah.
Yeah,
but I think
she'd rather be evil than good. But she does, like, have feelings for Sabine at this point.
She totally. There's a lot of tension between them. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
There was tension.
There was so much
I don't
tension.
even know if it was, like, bestie potential or, like, what.
Or love,
if it was giving, like, Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld, or like it's what? True. Yeah,
a little Hawkeye action. Mm-hmm. So then Sabine obviously is riding off. She is trying to find Ezra. She meets some nomads from the planet, and she kind of gets her shit handed to her a little bit.
She did, yeah. But she took down like 3 of them before she brought out the lightsaber.
She did the Mandalorian little stuff, and then that couldn't hold her up. And so then she got out the saber and they're like, oh, we didn't know you had
bruises
this.
on this woman, by the way.
Right. And that's the thing I think a lot of people aren't familiar with is a Mandalorian Jedi. Like they thought she was a Mandalorian at first. They're like, oh, we can take her. But then she pulls out that green saber and they're like, oh, one of them ran away, literally.
Yeah,
one of them
they
ran
were
away.
like, we are scared of Jedi just from seeing it. And she's not even good with it. So it was a good thing that she waited till the end because they're like, oh, no, now she's serious. Yeah, now this, she already handed it to us with 3. She did get her shit wrecked, though, I would say. And also, like, why did they keep shooting her in the chest? Like, she's wearing armor. Like, it kept bouncing off, and I was like, aim another place.
She has no helmet on, bro. She has no helmet on.
She has no helmet. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's smarter.
Right.
I was like, shoot her
well, the
leg
could, like, disarm, or, like, she'll be done. But in the meantime, that cute little howler dog runs off. He's not trying to die for her. He's not trying to die for the cause. I love him so much. And then, you know, she ends up defeating him and she's like mad at the dog. She's like, you ran away from me. And he's like doing these little like yelps. And if you have a dog, you know, even a cat, I feel like Poe probably does that. And she's like, go away. And he like walks away and there's like a pause. And he like ends up following her. I thought it was so cute.
It was so cute. I was like, I want this dog.
I know.
I've always wanted a dog I could ride.
I know. And then also the fact that they're called a howler. I'm like, okay, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay.
The howler.
And so the dog ends up helping her. He sniffs something out and they follow his lead. And he finds this like rock that moves, which we end up seeing stand up. And it looks like a little turtle thing, and they're called a Noti. And she noticed the Noti has a rebel symbol on,
and
which
a
is
really
like,
nice outfit,
really cute outfit. I'm like, how did Ezra put this together?
He's like put them all in vests.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's a great idea. Slacks.
Fuck the robe, put the vest on.
He must be an excellent like seamstress.
I was gonna say he had a lot of time there.
Yeah.
He's
been there a while.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, take us to Ezra, and this is again one of the last people we've been waiting to see this whole series. So then we go to Balon and Shin. They're following Sabine and they find the nomads that she fought, the little destruction area where she got down with them. And she's like, hey, Balon, like, do you know about this Ezra kid? Like, should we be worried? He's like, he was trained as a Jedi, like, after the temple. Like, you were trained to be something more, you know?
He was, like, trained in the wild or something, he said.
Right. Like, yeah, it was whatever times. And... yeah, he just thinks I don't know what he's training her to be. There's rumors right now that she could be like half Night Sister. She could be like half of that. She could be like a love child. Like there's just so many random things. And Balon tells
That'd
her
be cool if she was a Night Sister because they're super powerful.
Night Sister / Jedi. Mm-hmm. Damn. / Sith, I guess. So Balon tells her, you know, he sees a future on Peridia. But she's like, hey, but like everyone's like just wants to leave this planet. Like, what future are you looking for, dude? Like, nobody wants to stay here. And Balon's like, well, maybe they fear a power greater than their own. Again, he's giving Thanos, cliche Thanos. Like, I think he's going to meet his downfall. It's becoming very obvious that this man is stuck in his own delusional world, which is fine. You know, sometimes you got to do that to be happy.
Yeah, I think that he's got his eye on the prize, and if he stays Delulu, he's going to manifest something.
I was going to say, like, let's see what happens with this.
I'm like, I want to see what he wants. Yeah. I'm like, maybe.
Let's just let this play out.
Maybe.
And he feels something calling him there, he tells her. And there's a lot of rumors right now, the original creators of the Force, there's like these 3 people, and the son of Mortis from that planet may be calling him.
Ooh.
Which we're just going to leave it at that because that's like a whole other 30-minute video to explain all of that stuff. But yeah, has a greater calling, you know, a greater purpose. He seeks a great perhaps.
He wants the witches to be in charge. Yeah. He wants to create Dune.
He wants to be on, Arrakis.
He wants to be on a different movie.
Yeah. He's like, cast me. I mean,
he's like, he wants to hang out with Timmy Chalamet. That's what he wants.
I don't blame him.
Reverend Mothers, let's go.
They were giving Reverend Mothers.
They were. I was like, oh my God, you guys are doing it again.
Come on, George Lucas.
I was like, this is worse.
They did look like Reverend Mothers. And so then the Noti, we go back to Sabine with the Noti. She ends up like finding this little village. It's so cute. It was like a Polly Pocket sized village.
Loved it. Loves me some Polly Pocket.
Yeah, and she ends up like finding Ezra. Ezra looks like he hasn't shaved in a while. He looks a lot older than Rebels, which is true. He looked great.
Yeah, because he was like a child during Rebels.
Yeah, he was a child, and he was like a teen, like an older teen, probably like 19 or 20, kind of like Anakin's age, you know?
Yeah.
I thought he looked great though. I was like, here we go. Here's Ezra. But it was so awkward when they met.
He really grew up.
Yeah, he grew up. He looked awesome. Didn't have any Jedi things on him. Well, obviously, he doesn't have his lightsaber. Sabine has his lightsaber, which is like hers now.
Yes.
So that's interesting. But yeah, that whole meeting, I thought she was going to like run up to him and he was going to like pick her up. And she was just going to like hug him or something like more.
It was so awkward. Like they didn't even like run. I thought she was going to run to him. They just like talk to each other from like 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What? Why is this happening?"
There was no spark.
Like there was no movement. There was no spark.
No chemistry.
There was none. Mm-mm. Not. She had more chemistry with Shinhati.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
I'm rooting for them almost now.
I am too now.
I don't know who I want Ezra to be with, but maybe that's just projecting because I want him to be with
Maybe
me,
we could be cast in the next season.
It's
one of us.
Sabine clearly needs some work. Let her just go with Shinhati. They could train each other. But yeah, it was weird tension. It was, and like I don't know if I would have.
It was very friend chemistry, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Like you did this to save your friend. Maybe I could get behind that more than I could get behind like that too.
Like let's be friends first before lovers.
The guy who took your virginity,
right?
Like, don't save him. Right. But save your bestie.
Yeah,
for
go
sure.
save your BFF. That gives you a reason. Yeah, I definitely wasn't believing it, but I think they're building up to it because maybe they'll just like work towards that again. Like I think they just need to go have a drink. Hopefully those Notis know how to make a couple.
The Notis know how to do.
I know.
Like, they have
there's
their
a bar
own
there.
Little like trailer park that they create and they pick up and like walk around.
The trailer park. It's Paradise Park, basically.
It's
trailer park drink.
They have the like I don't know hillbilly lemonade or whatever.
I mean, shit. They probably can make a good aged brandy or something. They got barrels.
Yes.
Just put in one of their backs, their rock backs.
Incredible.
But yeah, like I love Ezra and Sabine. I loved them in Rebels so much together. I'm still rooting for Sabine. I'm obviously just way distracted by Ezra now because I love Ezra so much. And he's obviously going to be the key to the future of a lot of things. And I'm just really, really excited to see him back as a Jedi, back with a saber, maybe training a little younger Jedi. Maybe he has never met Jason Syndulla. He was gone before that.
Oh my!
Can you imagine?
So
when Hera
who's
meets
gonna
Ezra?
Train Jason.
That's my big question right now because we know Luke Skywalker is building the Jedi Training Academy. He's obviously going to start training all the Jedi that are going to die from the Knights of Ren, but he's still doing the cause. And Jason could go there. He could be next to Ben Solo. They're basically the same age right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I would assume they're around the same age right now. You just never know. It could be Ahsoka. I hope it's Ahsoka. I hope it's like a little bit of both. I hope like have two. Why one? Have two, Have
two masters?
Yeah, and it's like I feel like they both could teach him a lot. I would like to see it be Ezra. I just think Ezra's like he went.
But Ezra doesn't know what he's doing.
I think he does. I mean, Kanan Jarrus trained him, and Kanan Jarrus was a great Jedi. And he sacrificed himself for the ultimate good.
Yeah, but Ezra wasn't a great Jedi.
I think he was okay. I think he was a little conflicted, but I think it's
if somebody put Ezra and Ahsoka in front of me and they were like, pick your teacher, I'd be like, that girl.
Yeah, that 100%. 100%.
Easy.
I think maybe Ezra on this like time alone has like figured out some things though. Maybe he's used the Force because that's all he has. He doesn't have a saber.
Oh, that's interesting to think about. Really like he's out here moving rocks. And that's probably why he discovered the Noti.
Yeah, he could talk to them and shit.
Yeah.
He just felt them there.
And this is all like culminating into the movie.
The Mandoverse movie. Yeah. Which is, it's really exciting. I hope we get another, I like almost want another season of Ahsoka, but I see how it's not necessary.
Might be just the movie.
Yeah, which is like.
Yeah.
And then so that
could still do another storyline with her.
I'm like, we could totally just combine a lot of them.
She's not stopping.
No.
Unless she dies in the pergola.
I was gonna,
which we still haven't.
Right.
Still not 100%
I don't think she's
sure
gonna die in the pergola.
They all die when they jump.
It almost just makes it really confusing because we already have this new trilogy that doesn't make sense right now, being where it is in this time period. And I just wish we could like ixnay that, like it could just be like not a thing. Because if they would have did it in this order, we would have had 3 better movies, more concise, just better off, honestly. You know, like it wouldn't have been a drag on story of like Luke Skywalker being old and jaded. It would have been, let's keep Princess Leia alive floating through space when she's, you know, not even alive. Like I feel like it could have been a better end if they would have waited a little bit for that original trilogy, but obviously nobody knew the power of these live action shows and how great they were going to be until The Mandalorian came out. But it does put things in kind of a flux, but there is a lot of time and space they can dive into. I mean, the Knights of Ren, Luke's Jedi Training Academy.
They're doing the New Republic or the Old Republic.
Yeah, but that's like all the way.
Yeah.
So
but that's a good idea because like Game of Thrones
prequels,
did House of the Dragon,
right? Which the Acolyte.
That works.
The Acolyte's going to be amazing because it's going to be dark. It's going to be, you know, more adult Star Wars there. But and so then we see the last scene. Thrawn is alerted that Ahsoka's on her way. He's like, oh, here we can go. Not again, you know.
And
she's wearing white.
Oh man,
she's wearing
but
white.
Thrawn doesn't know Ahsoka.
He knows who she is.
He does.
Yeah. He's like, it's like Scooby-Doo with the villains. And I would have had it if it wasn't for these meddling
band of rebels.
And so then he goes to the Grand Witches. He asks them to help him with their magic to stop Ahsoka. You know, potentially injuring the pergola. They could resurrect somebody from the dead. It did look like they were moving a lot of body bags to that ship.
Resurrect Annie to fuck with her mind.
That's horrible.
But that would be amazing.
Thrawn also hates Vader. They all really hate Vader, I think. So I don't know if they would do that because now they know he like is on the good and he killed the Emperor.
They were excited when they met each other.
It's true. I would just be like, oh, he's another competitor. But Thrawn probably thinks he's better than Vader, honestly. He like looks in the mirror and he's like,
I can't believe that.
He just like is like, I'm the one. It's these red eyes.
I can't believe that about him.
Yeah. He's just very into himself.
I bet he doesn't compare himself to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so strong.
So final question for you. Do you think Thrawn will kill Balon? Or do you think Balon will meet his demise before the end of this season?
Why are you asking me this? Why do you think this?
We got 2 episodes left, and it seems like
you think Balon's going to die?
Yeah, I do. I do think he's going to die. I think Shin Hati's going to live, and I think she's going to either team up with Sabine, end up being bad in the long run, or she's just going to end up going back with Morgan Elsbeth. But I don't think she vibes with Morgan Elsbeth. Morgan Elsbeth is like one of those women who just like likes to be around men, you know? Even with her Night Sisters, you could tell she's like, whatever.
She's a pick-me for sure.
Yeah, and the Grand Witches weren't even like impressed with her. They were like, oh, you didn't tell us the Jedi was going to be here.
They were like, hey, Morgan.
Right, I guess. Thanks for doing our dirty work.
Sorry we didn't invite you to our last 5 parties.
Right. This is awkward. But here's Thrawn.
Awkward. We've been hanging out with Daddy Thrawn this whole time, and you just got here. Weird.
And you're with these 3 losers? Oh,
that's crazy. They reek of Jedi.
Right.
Sick.
Ew.
Interesting company you keep.
Yeah.
I believe that Balon will die. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need him for anything else. I like him.
No, I like him so
much. I like
much.
his character a lot.
I have hope for him. I had hope from the very beginning.
But what would he do in the movie or something?
I just think he might end up staying on Peridia and being stuck there, and that'll kind of be it. I don't know if he'll die or if he'll just stay there trying to like find something.
If he dies, it'll be like him saving Ahsoka or something dumb like that, or saving Sabine. I don't know.
Or Shin.
Yeah. Just like doing that, like going out like a hero, like almost turning.
Right.
But then I think that if he does survive, it would be like him being full evil. Like just go full. Like,
right.
You're not going full out.
Just commit to the role.
Yeah. Not the tryouts anymore, honey.
Right.
We're at the finals. Go full out with this performance. Just go big.
Yeah, I'm either way. I'm really excited for these last 2 episodes. I can't believe we're already on 7 and 8.
Yeah.
My heart hurts already because I don't know. I haven't looked at the timeline of our next Star Wars show. I don't think it's for a while till like next year after this, which hurts.
That hurts because they pushed Dune back.
They pushed Dune back, and it's like I again have to plan out ways to stay alive until March. Marvel is dead. It's pretty sad. I'm more excited for DC at this point. I mean, Aquaman.
This is the last podcast episode ever.
We sound really positive right now. I mean, these next 2 episodes are going to be crazy though, because Ahsoka is going to arrive on Peridea. Thrawn might still be there. They might have this whole interaction. I mean, Ezra's in the mix now. Sabine's with Ezra. Sabine hasn't even told Ezra what happened.
I can't wait for that fight. Bela and Shin.
Yeah.
Sabine, Ezra.
I'm so ready to see Ezra with the lightsaber. Is Sabine going to give the lightsaber back? I mean, it's hers now, but Ezra doesn't have one.
Is Sabine and Shin going to be fighting, and then instead they just kiss?
Maybe.
Just in the middle.
And the tension. Everyone's like, what?
Like,
everyone
what?
just stops
and then
fighting.
Ezra just like knocks Balin's head off.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh.
And Ahsoka arrives right at that time, and she's like,
and out of the mouth of a pergola.
She's like, why am I
And she's
here?
like, let's go back. And she just gets back in.
Come on, before they see us.
Takes off. Maybe we shouldn't write these shows.
I was going to say, that could be like just another alternate ending scene or something.
They could at least shoot it.
Right.
The least they could do. Is that all for today?
I think that's our grand recap of these past 2 episodes. It's been a time. It's been a great time.
It's been a great time to be alive.
To be a Star Wars fan. I'm living in it. I was watching Rebels the other day. I am playing
just to feel something.
Just to feel things. I'm playing like a Star Wars kind of game right now, Starfield. I'm just like in the mix of this galaxy. I'm so happy. Thank you, Dave Filoni. We love you.
Thank you, Dave Filoni, and thank you, Christine of the Lincoln Lodge. Yay. Thank you so much. We're so happy to be in a cool studio.
So quiet.
Loved it so much. This is not what we do. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you again for watching.
Bye. Bye.